you have an interest in horses and love learning more about horses, the horse industry, teaching, or even managing your own horse business, then you're in the right place. We would love you to join us on our mission, which is to improve the lives of horses around the world through the education of riders, handlers, and trainers. So get comfortable, listen in, and enjoy.
This is another of our popular Listener's Choice interviews, which we're playing over the weekend. We've chosen the most popular interviews for you to select the Listener's Choice winner. If you're not sure how the Listener's Choice competition works, have a look at horsechats.com/choice for the rules and the leaderboard. Today's chat's been brought to you by International Horse College. We have a mission to improve the welfare of horses throughout the world through the safe education of riders, handlers and trainers, and that's what these chats are all about. Registered Training Organisation 31352. Our guest today is Sandi Simons. Sandi was a typical country kid that would jump on any horse and ride. But like many women, she discovered that once she got a bit older and became the wife and mother of five, along with discovering how to overcome her own disability of spinal disease, she developed an innate sense of self-preservation, thus leading to her own loss of confidence. Using her own experiences and unique style, incorporated some of the training methods from her husband, David, Sandi's helped hundreds of women regain their confidence to get back into the saddle while enjoying a safe and harmonious relationship with their horses. Sandi's insightful, compassionate nature makes her a truly unique coach who's now providing a training system that's been sadly lacking for those who've had struggles in the equine world. Sandi offers all ladies who have lost their confidence the help, encouragement and support they need to ensure their journey when riding can become easier, enjoyable and more fulfilling. How are you today, Sandi?
I'm wonderful. Thanks, Glenys. How are you?
Oh, wonderful now. Yep, thank you. Now, Sandi, we normally start off with a quote. You've heard a few of our podcasts, so what's your favourite quote, or what's a quote that you'd like to talk about today?
Well, the one that I always repeat and has stuck in my mind most of my life is patience is knowledge in disguise.
Yeah. Now, tell me how you first got that one. You know, did someone tell you? Was there a particular incident?
Yeah, actually, we were over in America training with John Lyons, and it's one of his more favoured quotes.
Yep.
And I always would watch the guys train all over the last couple of decades, and I was always in wonder of how patient they looked. And, I'd always said to myself, I'm not patient enough to do that. Mm-hmm. And then when I figured it out through that quote, I'm like, oh, now I get it. Yeah. And it stuck with me. I think it was a lesson that I needed to learn, and it was a quote that helped me understand it.
And sometimes having the patience to watch for those very, very subtle signals that a horse gives you. You know, I think that's the knowledge, isn't it? You know, they're just very, very subtle.
Oh, absolutely. And I think if you're plugged in, watching and reading what the horse is telling you, then you never get lost. Yep. You're always got something to say about it, as long as you've got a good bucket of knowledge going on. But, the more you're paying attention, the more you see and the more action you can take rather than reaction.
Yeah. Now, Sandi, just think about an early memory that you had with horses, preferably your first memory, but just some sort of incident you had when you were in your childhood, one that would jump on any horse and ride. Tell us something about that.
I think my very first memory of riding horses was I would borrow the local town Shetland, and we commonly called him a Shetland. And I'd walk probably about 4 or 5 miles to catch him, and that would take me most of the morning to catch him, and then ride him home. But as soon as I got home and got off him, he would pull away and bolt and go back home. So that repeated forever. I don't know how many miles I walked catching that ornery little sucker.
I think he probably had a big smile on his face as he was, as he was running away.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He was horrid.
Yep.
But I persisted. I never gave up. There was only a horse around to ride for a long time, so I never gave up.
Good. Now tell us, from riding that horse, to going on, I suppose, meeting David, having a career with him, having a career with horses, what sort of was the event or anything that started you doing stuff with horses and being a horse professional? You know, was it sort of something that you always had? Did you work with horses earlier on? Just tell us a little bit about that journey.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've had horses in my life, all my life. I can't remember a time without them. And I truly did it as a selfish thing. It was for myself, to keep my soul happy and fulfill my passions. And it was only until after I met David that we started to get really heavy into it. And, that's a long time ago now. Mm-hmm. And it sort of fired up from there, but it was all about, David and, being the breadwinner. He was the one that pursued, being a professional in the industry. And we had a lot of local people that gave us a lot of support and pushed us in that direction. My career didn't start until after our last child. That was 22 years ago. I didn't plan that. That just sort of happened itself. That wasn't something I had aspired to do. I was quite happy just dealing with my own fear, and riding and stuff. But that soon, it grew itself, really.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about, because you had 5 kids. Did you ride in that time when your kids were younger or not? Or how did that work out?
Yeah, I did throughout all of my childbearing years. I, at some stages throughout each pregnancy, I stopped. But most of them I rode through until I couldn't. And the last one, he was premature, so that my riding stopped early with him. But I soon came back to it. I tried to get back to it as quickly as I could, but, slowly my confidence was just getting trashed. It was just awful by the time I had number 5.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about that whole confidence thing because, if you don't ride, you ride, you stay fit, you keep going, your balance is there, but you stop riding for a while and lose confidence. And, I think we can sort of say as females that, through childbearing years, you have breaks, you lose confidence, you get back, it builds up again. But 5 kids losing confidence, what then sort of was the thing that changed it, that you realised that you were losing your confidence and you had to think of some way then to get the confidence back, because you're now teaching, getting confidence back and in the saddle. Was there an event that led to that, to you working out what was going on, or just something that you figured out as you were going along?
No, I think for me it wasn't an accident or a pivotal moment. It was after each child, my responsibility, my burden got heavier. By the time I'd had number 5, I really felt like if something happened to me, what then?
Yep.
And it really weighed on me heavily. So with each child, it just got worse and worse and worse until the last one I was just shot. And I think it was compounded more for me because I'm married to a horse trainer. And, I'm in the horse industry. So it was really confronting because I was in the industry. It was different if I was doing it socially and only rode once a month, but being around the horses every single day and having to be around them every single day was compounded for me. And it became a real issue. And it sort of got to the point where I couldn't pretend I was okay anymore. I had to actually be very honest. And that's when I really had that pivotal change in my life. David and I spoke about it and I was really lost. And I said, I either give it up or I get serious. I don't know which way to go. That's when he helped me work out a program to, that helped me relax and helped me feel safe, that sort of thing. So, but I've, over the years teaching with women, it can be about an accident. It can be being out of the saddle where you've had a career. There's lots of other different reasons, but I do know the feelings are the same.
Yes. Yep.
It's all the same. Yep. Once you're nervous, you're nervous.
Yep.
So, and it's very debilitating. And I was really paralysed with fear at that stage. But, we're talking 22 years ago when I was at my worst. And there was no conversation of being a nervous rider. There was no conversation of dealing with fear. There was no trainer out there giving their voice. There was nothing. And I looked. I searched everywhere to try and find the answers, and there was absolutely nothing. So it was up to us to develop something or me stop. So, now I'm grateful that we figured it out because walking away could have been a lot easier.
Yep. Well, you figured it out for yourself, but you figured it out for lots of other people too. Yeah. And
I've noticed over the last, 20 or so years that doing what I'm doing, I'm creating a voice for the nervous rider and allowing it to be out there without any stigma attached to it and any shame attached to it. Because women And I know myself, dealing with my nerves, I felt like I was less of a horsewoman, which is so not the truth. But that's what I felt like. So I've definitely noticed since I started all of this that the conversation has changed.
Yes.
And that's a fantastic thing.
Yeah. Now, thinking about people that work in the horse industry and, not necessarily trainers, but people who want to work, and I don't know if you've got it with David or with yourself, that someone says to me, look, I want to work in the horse industry. I'm green, I don't know anything yet, but what sort of core skills or character traits do you think they need to have to get started in the horse industry?
Well, I think, first of all, you have to have an undying passion. If you see a horse as a tool, then you need not do it. But if you do have that insatiable passion, then by all means work towards that. But you also need a shield of armour. The horse industry can be quite fickle, and there's lots of armchair experts, unfortunately, and lots of critics. So you've got to have a lot of self-belief and really believe in what you're doing. Truly believe in what you're doing.
Yep.
Then you'll survive it. But, it's a fickle industry and there's a lot of people in it now. It's completely changed. You can go to a different clinic every weekend or, with a different trainer. There's so much on offer now. So, you really need to be driven into really wanting to be in the horse industry and really have a very strong passion.
And that shield of armour, I was going to say a thick skin, but I think a shield of armour describes it a lot better, doesn't it? Yeah.
Definitely a shield of armour, And, unfortunately, and we see it still, it's a conversation in the world today, but females still struggle in the horse industry and we have to fight a little bit harder.
Yes.
To survive it, which, I'm proud to do, but it's definitely a male sport, male-dominated sport, and, we're certainly making headway in it. That is absolutely for sure, but, if you're a woman heading into the horse industry, you put on your shield of armour and leave it on. Be very, very sure of who you are.
Yeah, but I think females getting in, I mean, you have a look at people getting into the horse industry and young, teenagers, pre-teenagers, and most of them are female. But then the females tend to drop off a bit and the males shine through. So the males are better at the top level. There's more of them at the top level.
Yeah.
But at the beginner level, it's more females. It's more of a female attraction, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And, the biggest demographic in the equine industry is women from 25 to 55. That's the biggest demographic. So, it's...
The demographic
I'm all
at the
for
lower.
It. I think there should be more women in it. And more women out there, being professionals in the horse industry, absolutely. I think it's needed. It's not to go out against the men, it's just to go out and be beside them and show them that we can hold our own as well.
Yep. What do you think's the best thing about working in the horse industry, working with horses?
Oh, meeting all the people, for sure.
Okay.
Meeting all the beautiful, beautiful women that I meet, that's definitely what keeps me going.
Yep.
I meet some fascinating, gorgeous, adorable women, and a lot of them I've chosen as friends over the years, and each weekend I get to meet more, and I just absolutely love it. Love hearing their stories, love meeting their horses, love helping create change.
Do you get many males come to your clinics? Any males?
Yeah, I do actually. I'm not a female-only clinician or trainer, that's for sure, and I do get some men come along and they absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. So they get along. They seem to blend in and just get along fantastically. So it's really cool to watch. Okay.
And do they come with their partners or they come because they want to increase their confidence? What is it that attracts them to come to your clinics?
Well, some come with their partners and some don't.
Okay.
There's a lot of men out there that are actually saying, straight up, I am nervous, or they've had an accident.
Yep.
So they're wearing their heart on their sleeve, but it doesn't take them long when they come to a clinic. They'll come back and they'll start training with Dave. So they soon find their feet.
Yeah, good. Now, you've talked about David. Who else has influenced you?
Oh, wow. Well, John Lyons most definitely has had one of the greater influences on me and on David, but not only with horses, but on a more personal level.
Yep.
I think the other one would be John's wife, Jodie. She's one of my best friends that, we have been for a very long time. But she mentors me and pushes me and makes me drive harder when I have, flat moments. She'll say, come on, get going. And I've got a very strong connection with her that I love. And I've got I do a trainers program now, so I train other women to, become clinicians and trainers. And So I've got a lot of people around me that inspire me and push me as well.
That's good. Okay, now what about horses? I'm sure you've had some amazing horses. Has there been any standouts that you'd like to mention?
Absolutely. Well, my Grand Prix horse, Galatea, he is still alive. He's in his early 30s. He's been retired, now it'd have to be 14 years now, and 12 years actually. And just this weekend, actually, I had my two out. I've had Cassidy now, my Persian bred mare, for 18 years, and she's still demonstrating with me. I just did an expo on the weekend with her. And Bodacious Bandit, my paint horse, he's my cowgirl dressage horse. He's 22, and I had him demonstrating with me as well. So I'm still using them both. They're still in full flight, they are.
That's good, isn't it?
100% healthy and ticking over. And, we were just saying that Bodacious Bandit, or Bo we call him, he's been to every Equitana in Australia.
Yeah.
Every single
good.
one. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
yes.
they're my favourites. They're the only two I've had for a long time, very, very long time.
What do you think's been your proudest moment?
My proudest moment? Wow, I've had many, many proudest moments. I think it's just happened, actually. I got asked by Equitana to be the horsemanship ambassador for Equitana this year.
Oh, that's good, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I was absolutely chuffed.
Yeah.
First of all, to be asked, but second of all, for a woman to be asked.
Yep.
So I think that sits on top of my list at the moment.
That's good. Thinking about where you are now and becoming horsemanship ambassador for Equitana, which is a great honour, and taking aside, we've got the challenge of the confidence and everything, and, taking that aside, but what do you think your biggest challenge has been to get to where you are now? Is it the female in the male-dominated world? Is it tell me about other things that have happened.
I think the hardest part about doing, being a trainer in Australia, especially for myself, is to keep up the resilience. People love it. They come to a 2-day clinic and they have a ball and they leave and they have great memories, but they don't see the 12 hours of travel that's gone into getting there, the 12 hours of travel to get home, the family time that you've missed, not being in your own bed, not being home, not seeing your family. So, I think it's resilience. That's the hardest thing. If I get to Western Australia this weekend to do a clinic and I'm sick, that's bad luck. I've got to do the clinic. So, people don't see that side of it, about how committed us clinicians or trainers are. It takes a hell of a lot of commitment. And we pay the price in other ways. We miss out on birthdays and parties and weddings and, engagement parties, 21st, that sort of thing, because we're out. So, it's a price to pay, but, I wouldn't change it for the world. I would never complain. I love it. So, I think resilience is the thing that we need to pay attention to.
Okay. Is that what you'd say to someone who's thinking about just expanding their knowledge, who's been asked to start to do a few clinics? Is that what you'd say to them, be resilient?
Absolutely. And self-care.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, yep. And we're not taught a lot of that, and we're not raised with self-love, but I would definitely say you need a lot of self-love and a lot of self-care, because you want to be the very best for everybody that's attending. They want the very best of you over those 2 days. So you've got to bring your best game there. So you can't be tired, you can't be out late, you've got to bring your best game. And I'm talking about if you want to be professional, if you want to hold your head up in, out in the equine industry and be a professional, you need, it's a 24-hour job.
Yes. And it's, as you say, to be professional, and just if you're a bit sick, you just get out there and do it and put on the happy face. And the other thing is too, people are paying you for your service. They're not paying you for, I'm not so
That's
good.
Right.
I'm not going to give you quite as much today, but, if I'm feeling well, I'm going to, they're paying the same. Yep.
Yeah, I had a bad day yesterday and I'm a bit tired, so I don't think I'll party today. It was bad luck. So
too bad.
You've got to be professional from the get-go. And, I take pride in that, and I am, 100% of the time, and that's why I'm still in the industry. That's why I'm still doing what I'm doing. If I didn't, bring my best game all the time, the horse industry would spit you out pretty quick.
Yes. Thinking about a new group, you go into a new group of riders, of their horses. What's a common fault or a common problem that you see, or a common thing to work on with them? Not people that you've worked with before, and then moving on. But what's when you very first have a new group, what's something common that you see across the board?
Oh, that's pretty easy, that one. We call it the new epidemic that's in plague proportions, and it's overfed and underworked. We see it all the time.
Are we talking horses or people? Yeah.
No, horses.
Okay.
Their horses are overfed and underworked, and all of a sudden these people are overfaced.
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of the times they come in and say, my horse is badly behaved, and they're correct, it is. He's got way too much energy and not enough rules. So That's the most common one that I see. The other one that I see is that people are paralysed with their fear, so they don't know how to express themselves properly. And it's through sitting with them and talking with them and connecting with them that they find their voice.
All right, so you've got people sitting with them, talking with them, connecting with them. The overfed, underworked, what sort of exercises do you start with?
We do, they get a choice. We can either do some round pen work with some liberty training, which helps connection and relationship, or we'll go straight into the groundwork. If the horses are really pushy and rude on the ground, we'll get them sorted with some groundwork that is specifically designed to get the horses to become more obedient quickly and relax. That's usually up to the client's choice. Mm-hmm. More times than not, women, of my demographic, around the 50-year-old age, they want the round pen work. They want the liberty training because they want that connection.
Yep.
But the younger ones, they're quite happy to go out and get the groundwork done. When I say younger, under 40, they're happy to get out there, get on the ground and get the horses sorted. So we juggle between the two, depending on what they ask for.
What's the longest you've had someone just doing groundwork and work in the round pen before they're ready to get on? I'm just thinking if someone really is paralysed with fear. Yeah, usually
a day. Mm-hmm. Well, I'll get the horse going for them and then integrate them to the horse.
Okay.
Everything I do is no pressure. They come and start when they're ready. Until then, I just keep working the horse for them to keep them safe. And then we build from that. So there's absolutely no pressure. If they said, I don't want to do it for a month, that's fine. I'll still help.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no pressure. You can't push emotion.
Mm.
You've got to let it, fear it plays its own journey. Mm-hmm. And the best thing you can do for someone that's frightened is increase their skill level.
Yes.
That's really the only thing you can do for them. So,
but at the same time as increasing their skill level, you're also increasing the ability of the horse to cope with their fear.
Exactly right.
Yep.
Exactly right.
Yep.
So education is the key to everything. Mm-hmm. Key to absolutely everything.
Yeah. Now, Sandi, have you got a book that you'd like to recommend to our listeners?
Oh, wow. I've got a lot. A lot of books. I think, the first one would be A Life Worth Riding, which is my autobiography. Mm-hmm. I have had a lot of feedback about that, and women have found it very powerful as they've connected to it to help them understand what they're going through. So that would be my first reference. And then, of course, there's heaps of training books, but I think A Life Worth Riding.
I think that'll get people
started. They can buy that online. Yeah. They can buy it on Amazon. They can buy it everywhere.
We'll have a link to that anyway on Horse Chats, and I think it's horsechats.com/books, or else they'll go to your page, which would be horsechats.com/Sandi Simons. Yep.
Cool.
Okay, then. Now, what are you looking forward to at the moment? You're looking forward to Equitana?
Oh, yes. This year it's our 20-year anniversary at Equitana, and I have been working for Equitana since the beginning. Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited to get to our 20 years. That's really cool.
Good.
So I'm really looking forward to that.
Okay.
And I've just bought myself a new horse, so I get him in December. So
okay. Tell us a bit about him.
Well, he's a Mauritian, so a Morgan Frisian, and he's a yearling, so I haven't bought a horse in 18 years, so I'm a bit excited about that.
That's good, isn't it? That's good.
Yeah.
All right, Sandi, just in a few sentences, can you summarise your philosophy about horses into a lesson today for our listeners?
My philosophy is, if you believe in yourself first, your horse will believe in you second. And that's all it takes to train a horse is a bucket load of self-belief.
Yep.
That's my philosophy.
All right. Now, Sandi, how can people contact you? We've already said that they can contact you through horsechats.com/Sandi Simons, or else go to horsechats.com, search for Sandi with an I and search for Simons, or how else, Sandi, just in case people have got their pen and paper ready and they're ready to go.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy. Well, you can find us on Facebook, David and Sandi Simons. We've got a page on there that all of our clinics and everything's put on.
Yep.
And Sandi Simons, that's Sandi with an I, and Simons is one M, simons.com.au. So our website's up and out there, and they can find anything about us sitting on that. And or give us a call.
Yeah, and we'll also have the link to that book as well, to your book, Life Worth Writing. Yep. All right, Sandi, wonderful talking to you. Hopefully we'll catch up with you again soon and we can go into a bit more depth into one or two things that we've talked to. Yeah. All right.
And thank you for doing this podcast. You're helping,
no worries.
Every little bit helps and it changes, so good on you.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you've enjoyed the episodes that you have listened to as well.
Yeah, most definitely have.
Okay then.
Thank you.
Bye-bye then.
If you've enjoyed this chat, then please comment, rate and subscribe. If you'd like any changes or recommendations for guests, then please contact us through horsechats.com. And while you're online, have a look at the government-accredited courses at internationalhorsecollege.com. Registered Training Organisation 31352.
Remember that our comments and instructions are general in nature and do not take into consideration your individual horses or your individual ability and circumstances. If you enjoyed this podcast, then please leave your comment below.